Welcome to the forefront of transformation. MSP+OS launched with a promise. Today, we deliver on that promise. Every day, every project. We're not just consultants. We are creators, innovators, leaders. Our journey has just begun, but our impact resonates. Together, we've turned challenges into opportunities and visions into realities. Now, we're ready to take the next leap, to amplify our reach, to elevate our game. This is MSP+OS. Visionaries, unite. Innovators, ignite. Leaders, let's conquer the new era of IT solutions. The future isn't waiting, neither are we. The live stream starts now.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of MSP+OS Unplugged. I'm Adam Blansky, and I'm excited to host another episode that brings us closer to the heart of what makes MSP+OS tick, right? Today, we're divulging into the domain that is critical to any business, and it's often underappreciated. It's accounting. And we're joined today by Nikki Munoz, and our Director of Accounting Services, whose expertise ensures our financial foundation is as strong as our technology foundation, right? And Nikki's role is really critical. It's pivotal to making not just managing the finances, but also strategizing and growing and really keeping clients informed of their financials. But beyond the numbers, Nikki loves the Seattle Seahawks, right? She loves football. And I don't want to do this all alone. I want to bring Nikki on. Nikki, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. My camera seems to be a little bit off. It's a little different angle. I bumped it maybe. Move it back that way.
Great.
Nikki, your journey in leading accounting services, right? Department at MSP+OS. It's been really cool seeing you grow and become that director of services. But kind of what was your journey leading to that point? What sparked your interest in accounting, and how did it lead to that current role that you're in today?
Oh, well, it's been a long journey. Accounting started for me 20 plus years ago. I was in, long story short, I was in retail hours, that type stuff. And literally I was like, I want a 9 to 5. I want a Monday through Friday. And I went and I had a career building company go and help me. And they said, you're good at numbers. You should go into that. And I was like, cool, let's do this. And I ended up becoming a bookkeeper for a small business retail store in the Seattle area. And then the financial crisis in the late 2000s hit. And I was like, oh, I need to move industries because it was appliances and that got hit hard. So I was lucky enough to find a MSP that was local to me. And I went in and I just kind of took the bull by its horns and was ready to get in and dive into this industry that I never knew anything about. I didn't know what a server was. I didn't know what a thin client was, nothing. I knew numbers. That's where I came in. And at the same time, they were starting a new system called ConnectWise. And so I went, cool, let's figure out what that is and we'll do it, because they were doing everything through email. And so we built it from there, and it was a really cool journey to learn about the accounting side of things and how that could actually help them grow their company and get us to the next steps of where we wanted to be on the financial side of it. And then I moved to another MSP, which got me into the VAR industry mixed with managed services. So that was really cool, all integrated with ConnectWise and everything. And then I took the big leap to go from internal accounting into the consulting space, which, oh my gosh, I respect you guys so much for it, because it is not an easy thing. And I feel like you just have to have some tough skin to be a consultant. And doing this side has been really cool to support a team that gets to be in the MSP space and also be with accounting. And we get to work with a lot of companies and help them grow and help them get their financial goals and where they want to be. And that's my long story of how I ended up here at MSP+OS.
Nice. So some retail history, then you jumped into MSPs on the, working with MSPs or for MSPs. Now you're consulting. That is obviously some significant changes and challenges going from in the business to coaching and consulting, right? So throughout your career, you've navigated some of those significant challenges. what are some key experiences that helped shape your approach to accounting here at MSP Plus?
I think the key thing was understanding margins and understanding where every bucket was, where the revenue was coming in, where our costs were, and being able to build a story of what happened and also try and create the next chapters of where we wanted to go and look at things from that financial standpoint, that higher level that is able to translate across the board from all the key stakeholders. And so for me, it was really important to not just look at the inputs and just make sure that everything was, balanced out and reconciled. It's why are the margins fluctuating? Why are things looking the way they are? What's the industry standards? Because that for me, that was one of the hardest things to figure out was what is everybody else doing? Thankfully for things like Evolve and for SLI, you kind of get that insight, but that's like this special club you got to get into. And without that, it was like so hard to try and figure it out on your own. But it's having those KPIs and other things in place. And once you start learning about the importance of the financials and the importance of your accounting team, and they're a cost center, but really, I feel like it pays for itself. And so learning that it's so important to have accurate numbers is where you're able to really get that growth, because growth is hard. It's not easy. You make mistakes, you learn as you go, you kind of go backwards before you go forward again. But being able to have that financial strategy and structure in place really helps with all of that.
Yeah, and so just for our audience, just some people might not be involved, but involved in IT Nation Evolve. That's a peer group community, and then SLI is Service Leadership Index. And so I know we both, being involved in peer groups is a huge momentum shifter for an MSP business to be part of peers and get that collaboration. And I know SLI has been around for a long time as really the financial benchmark for the MSP space. And it's been awesome seeing our organization coach on it, adjust the finances to, make sure they're running their numbers, KPIs, and keeping right. Because if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right?
Yeah.
So shifting in a little bit and talking about the services, deep diving into the services, turning, to your core of what you do. Tell us about kind of the accounting services here. What objectives are you driving towards for your department, and what are some of the key components of those services?
So for us, the biggest objective is clean numbers. We want to make sure that everything that is on your books, it makes sense, it is real. It is the scary part in accounting is what I found, especially in the accounting side, is things tend to be subjective. So some bookkeepers will do things a certain way, some will do another way. In our industry, there's a lot of standards that are pretty much best practice, and it's the way it should be done. And so that's what we go for. That's what we want. We want those best practices that are, how are you applying your COGS? Are they aligned with your revenue of what you're doing? So for the business owners, they want to know, like, how good is their professional services the past quarter? How good was their managed services the past quarter? Or are we even breaking even in those different revenue streams and whatnot? So for us, we go in and we make sure that all the COGS make sense with the revenue. The timing is accurate. I know that for us, like ASC 606, which is like your revenue, making sure that revenue recognition is aligned. And so we go in and make sure that is happening, a bunch of nerdy number stuff that we go in and do. So that way, at the end of the day, it looks pretty for your accountants. And also at times people want to go in and they might possibly want to get M&A happening or something. So, or even if it is an audit, we got to make sure that everything is in play, because for us, our integrity is so important, because people trust us. And they trust what we're doing. So we really want everything to just be correct and best practices. And also something that at some point, if you grow to a certain point, it is easily we can hand it off to somebody, because we've streamlined a lot of your processes. We have the documentation that says how we do everything, and there's backup behind it. So there's a lot that goes into it. But for us, it's really important that everything is accurate.
Yeah, and that's really, really critical. Having GAAP practices and making sure ASC 606 is being applied. I know I have a massive history with accounting and a lot of financial struggles running through 2007, 2008, and really forced into a situation where I had to really buckle down and learn that.
Yep.
And that's why it's kind of a passion for me, is to see this grow and continue. And I love seeing you lead that department. I know that part of our merger, it's been insane amount of work and just dealing with all of our accounting and services, our finance team, and all those different things and all the different cultures and so forth. So, with that, day to day, ensuring, the various different financial health, it's a very complex task. There's tons of things to deal with. And, how do you and your team tackle those unique challenges of accounting in our space, right? It's very, very unique, right? And then,
So,
yeah,
we are, you have to be organized, one. So we will have a very, we do, our team is a little bit different than everyone else. We have recurring tickets that we do to check on bank feeds weekly. So we do bank feeds for our clients. We're going to do your payroll entries. We're going to go into your ConnectWise, and we're going to do your agreement invoicing. And then we're going to push your agreement invoicing into your QuickBooks. And then we're going to also push your payments into your ConnectWise. And so we're running those syncs daily. And we are T&M invoicing, standard invoicing, sales order processes. And then you go back into the accounting where you're doing your AP, your AR. We're helping you set up workflows for your past due notifications and ConnectWise. So it's the whole full gamut of everything when it comes to accounting that we're doing. And I would say the cool part about my team is that we're not just into the books in the QuickBooks side of things. We understand the industry and we understand ConnectWise, and we're able to bring it full circle for the clients and make it all work and marry together. Because I've seen one of the biggest challenges with a lot of MSPs is they aren't able to make the invoices and the exports go into QuickBooks correctly, and then they just get these errors and then they give up and they're like, well, I don't know, so I just did some entries or whatnot. And so we just go in there and we make it look simple for you guys, basically. So
yeah, it sounds like establishing client profiles and then having a routine schedule for each client, depending on the needs of weekly reconciliations, when a bill's being paid, when a check's being deposited, those type of things, and processing all that stuff in the QuickBooks and ConnectWise types of things. So, can you share maybe a recent success story that you might have had with MSP+OS, that maybe some sort of strategy or something that really, from our services, really help them out?
I won't drop names, but I will say that we've had a couple clients. I mean, honestly, we've had, so in the time that I've been here, I've seen so many really good things happen with clients. And as much as I hate to see some people go, I can't be upset when they say, hey, you know what, we just got acquired, or we are going to go into a merger, or we're acquiring another company that has another financial internal finance. And that I've seen multiple times in the past couple of months. And as much as I can't say that it was us that got him there, I would say we definitely were a part of that journey, because we were able to provide those financials during the due diligence process. And we were able to give that to make it make sense to the people that were going through that process. And and that's not easy. I know anybody that has been in MSP has probably dealt with an M&A and due diligence, and they ask a lot of questions and you have to come prepared. And it's like they're going to go deep dive into everything that you're doing. And I feel like we've been able to help them along with that. And we have been we've been there for a lot of the questions and working with the accountants and providing all that information. But we've also helped people just get to the point of being able to have clean numbers month over month, and to transition from maybe an older way of doing things like on Excel spreadsheets, and saying, hey, let's get you into QuickBooks Online or a QuickBooks Desktop. And so we'll convert your tools, what you were using, and get you into a system that integrates with ConnectWise and gets your numbers in a place that we can start pulling reports and everything. And so those two journeys of kind of the M&As, but also kind of getting people as their maturity level up to the next standard of getting a new system in place has been really key. And it's helped them to understand their net profits and their margins a lot better.
For sure. It's really, really critical, right? You can't manage it if you can't measure it, right? And
Yep.
I'm gonna bust our audience's chops a little bit, right? We're all engineers, and I know I ran my MSP business, And finance is probably the thing. It's like, it's a gut check thing. I think I can do this, or I think I got enough money in the bank account, until you really know, and you're actually managing it and measuring it. And, it's not gut. It's literally focus on the numbers, focus on the P&L, focus on the balance sheet, and understand that stuff. It's a lot of education. So you're teaching and coaching clients as you go. And it is a very hot market right now, preparing financial statements for M&A. It sounds like, I know we've had a couple clients that are on the exit, right? So it's awesome. And with that is the landscape of the MSP space. And the businesses and the technology is constantly evolving, constantly changing. So Nikki, from your perspective, what trends are really shaping the future of accounting and financial management?
That's hard. I think we have to be aligned and understand what the industry of MSP is, where that is going, and make sure that we understand the financial side of that. So are they going with certain models for their revenues? The old school me would go, okay, where you would look for it, are they using per users, or are they doing per nodes, or what, how are they going to be charging for that? And so it was understanding, well, what is the majority doing, and how can we translate that into the numbers and the costs and everything. And on our side, it's a lot more difficult because we have to be aligned with IRS regulations and GAAP. So we take a look at what the clients are doing, what they want to do, and what they should do financially on their books. And, if you want to bill annually, for instance, okay, well, we need to figure out a way to make sure that we're amortizing that throughout the year, so your books are aligned of when that is coming along. And Keith, I'm going to call you out. Thank you so much for all your little lovely comments. I'm trying not to laugh while doing this.
Nikki, Keith is an avid viewer of our live streams and our webinars. So he is also a client of ours. So love his comments, love his colored comedy. So
Keith was my favorite. I was so excited to meet him at IT Nation. I literally was like, oh my gosh, it's Keith. Me and Kelly were both like, my coworker, we saw him and we just ran up and we were like awestruck. Because if anybody knows Keith, he has like the coolest stories, and his businesses. I've had the pleasure of working for him in his books and everything, working with him. And it's so fun to work with him. And so if he says any of this stuff that he's a dumber client on there, that's not true. Not true at all. You don't get where he's at, okay? Like just by chance. So
so always a pleasure, Keith, having you live. Nikki, with kind of talking about that, the technology business changes, right? And kind of how you see that. How do you see, your team preparing and innovating and adapting to those accounting practices, and maybe even continue supporting the growth of our clients and even our own team? What do you see there?
So our team meets on a weekly basis, and we have our own rocks and goals that we do weekly. And one of the things that's been great for us is that we can work together on what we are seeing with our different clients, and what's been winning, what the challenges are, what they've been seeing. And to boot, we also have our other departments that we get to pull from. I feel like we have our own little group that we're so lucky to be able to pull and poke and ask questions about what they're seeing out there industry wise, and how that my team can help and prepare for those some of those changes. So maybe it is like a different integrator tool that they're using, and how will that go into the books, or how is that going to go into ConnectWise? And often then we can go to these clients and say, okay, that is something that we have experience, or we can work with you or figure out or help with you on. And so for us, the biggest challenge really is staying on task, well, not on task, sorry, staying with all the ever-changing tools and the ever-changing integrations that are out there, and trying to help the clients if they do see that they are having some issues with maybe some integrations, if there are some better tools out there. And because often or not, like some of these tools will actually help the accounting team too. So it's trying to find and make sure that we're up to date with all of those as well. So that way we can help our clients out, like the Pax8 of the world, that type stuff, like things that are integrate into your agreements and everything. Like is that what works best? And, how can we all make it come together and translate those numbers into something clean and replicable?
Nice. Awesome. So thank you for that. And thank you everybody for joining us live. And I want to kind of wrap up here. Our conversation today with Nikki has really brought to light the critical role of accounting in the success and stability of our clients. All right, Nikki, your expertise and forward-thinking approach has really been truly invaluable, not just in keeping our finances in check, but also driving the strategic decisions for our clients and that foster their growth, right, is really super important. Those KPIs and measuring the SLI, aligning the finances is really super critical role. Thank you, Nikki, for sharing some of those insights and your experience here. And a big thank you to everybody who joined us live and contributing to the dialogue. Keith, I know you've been a great part of this and engaging questions. Definitely check us out. Don't miss next episode next Tuesday. We're going to be bringing on Will Bergil for our UMM team. So explore other facets connecting you with the people and services at the forefront of tech innovation here in the MSP space. Until next time, keep striving for excellence in every transaction and strategy. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.